Recruiting. Wow, how important is that? It's just like with the football team. I mean, you want the best players on the field all the time. And I think one of the big warnings that I've found and experienced is with recruiting is not just putting out the plea and kind of doing a y'all come and lead. That's a great way to get yourself in trouble. I think the main thing is to think about what you want to see happen, whether it's new units or whatever that you're creating, whatever kind of leadership position it is, whether it's a discipleship class or some kind of mentoring program or a Sunday school class. You're going to want to think about where you're headed and then look for people in particular. And then the other thing with recruiting that I think is, that's kind of the warning, but the other kind of missing link is just remembering to pray and ask the Lord, because He literally is the one who raises up leaders. And one of the exciting things with that is that sometimes somebody will come to me and say that they want to lead something that I haven't even thought about or dreamt about, and the Lord just plops them right in my lap. So recruiting can be a very, very exciting thing. In thinking about training leaders before they start serving, one of the best things to do there is simply giving job descriptions. I mean, if I'm offered a job, but I'm clueless about what it is that I'm supposed to do, man, that's critical. So one of the things that I try to do is get people in their hands a job description so that they know, like in Sunday school, what does a director do? What's expected of me? When am I supposed to meet? What's my role on Sundays? If I'm a teacher, if I'm an in-reach leader, outreach leader. So I've got all that kind of packaged. Another thing that's important in training, which is a critical step, and it may not necessarily be a part of training, but is background checks. Doing our side of the homework before we put somebody in front of people, even if we're going through training, is making sure that that's a critical part of not only are they okay and they don't have anything in their background, but then also kind of walking them through and making sure that they're checking out just in leadership. Are they hitting some just key areas? Spiritual gift testing is also another thing. You don't necessarily want people on your hospital ministry team that are strong in prophecy, and low in mercy. That's a little painful there. And but the other valuable tool in training is before you approach people in leading, hopefully you've already had that opportunity where somebody has recommended them to you and has said, wow, this person is ready to go. They're ready to lead, or they've already done this, or they've completed a special project. So you've already kind of seen and already kind of had them in training, so to speak, before they get rolling. One critical part of leading leaders is making sure that we continue to lead them, that we don't just throw them in the water and hope that they swim, but that we keep on with them and track with them. And so there are a couple things that I do with my leaders, particularly in Sunday school, is a monthly leader meeting. And one of the ways that was passed down to me that works really good is a VHS meeting, a vision huddle skill, so that in our Sunday school leader meeting that we take a part of the time to talk about vision. So I talk about reaching and teaching folks a lot, because that's our basis in Sunday school. And then I let them huddle up for a while, a portion of the meeting with their own teams, and then I walk around, so it's a high touch time so that they know that they can ask me about everything from dry erase markers to a crisis to a party. And then the S time is a skill time, and that's the thing that I've gotten the most feedback on. Is they're going to get tired of listening to me, but if I'll bring in somebody that can share with them about how to lead small groups, or how to facilitate something, or how to handle crisis calls, or how to teach a particular passage, man, they really benefit from that. The other thing that I've tapped into recently is the web. I use a web-based email system, so to speak. It's a blog, really, but QSBC/leader. And what that does is that lets me communicate leader-type topics on a weekly basis with all of my leaders and drop things in their email, whether it's encouragement or a link to a special resource where they can get special training tips or tools or a book or a video or whatever it is. And that's been a real blessing. probably something that's usually seen as negative, but isn't negative at all, is evaluations. You know, a time to be able to step back and reflect and just kind of double check and see what the Lord's doing and see what's happening as a leader. So kind of set this up, and I do it in even a more non-scary way, if you want to say it, is every year at our annual leadership training, I give everybody our booklet with the job descriptions and all that kind of good stuff in it, but it's also got a leader evaluation and a teacher evaluation, which lets them, the teacher evaluation is so that they can think about all the people in their class and where they are in their walk with Christ, and do they know their testimony, and just basic facts that they would need to know about how their folks that they're working with are growing. So that's one side of evaluation. But then I've got another evaluation that's a personal evaluation, and I've got that set up 0 to 10. How are they doing in our core areas with reaching and teaching? How is their own personal walk with Christ? How's their own sharing of their own faith? Their prayer life, their teaching skill, their teaching delivery, their study time. I've just got a number of things listed there that doesn't come back to me. It's just for them to be able to think and at least take a break for a moment and reflect on how they're doing as a leader. So that kind of a two-way street, thinking about who they're leading, have they evaluated that, and then thinking about how they're doing themselves in evaluation, and all that is a bonus.